Hello everyone, so today we're going to be looking at doing the coding side of the crystal ball. What this is going to get into is it's going to get into some new things for us. Obviously the LCD display is new, the tilt switch we did last time, and then the potentiometer we've had a handful of times already in this project. Okay, so we're going to be looking at the code. Okay, so the first thing that it's going to do is it's going to want us to include that library. We go to this file cabinet looking, or the file drawer looking icon, and it has libraries. We're going to look for the liquid crystal. Okay, so this is going to be LCD displays. We're going to hit include, and it's going to bring in, it's going to say hashtag include caret liquid crystal .h. .h is their file format for their add-on libraries. Okay, so we're going to look at liquid crystal. And we're going to call it LCD. Then we're going to enable certain ports. We're going to enable 12, 11, and then 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay. So what that's going to do is that's going to turn on the certain ports on the actual board. From here to the board. Okay. I'm going to make sure to put our semicolon at the end. Okay. So the next thing that we're going to get into is our variables. Once again, this constant or const int, and then switch state. Sorry, switch pin is equal to 6. The reason why we use the constant variable call out, or constant int variable call out, is this pin, we're never going to change it. Okay, during the writing process we are never going to change what's coming into that port. It's always going to be the tilt switch. Okay. Excuse me. So we don't want to change that. Okay, we're never going to rewrite that variable. Okay, so our next one's going to be int switch state, and that's going to be set to 0. Int switch previous switch state. Now I do notice that I have that. Okay, it's going to be 0 also. We're going to go int reply. Okay, and what that's going to do is that's going to tell us, hey, these variables are all going to be able to be overwritten. Okay, you'll notice we are not giving reply a current variable. We're going to assign it a variable before we use it. Okay, but int switch and previous switch state, we need to make sure that those are set to variables for specifically when we get to our first if statement. Okay, so the next one that we're looking at is pin mode, and this is our first line within our void setup. Okay, and you'll notice the pin mode there, it's utilizing switch pin, which is set to 6, and the reason why, once again, is because we don't want that variable to change, is why we have it as constant. We don't want to accidentally assign it a new variable. Okay, so this should be in the rest of our liquid crystal display. So we're going to go LCD, because we defined that here, and then that's referring back to the library. LCD begin, dot begin, and this is going to initialize it. We have 16 character spots in 2 rows. Okay, so the print, remember, print is writing to it, and it does not take the quotations into in hand. Okay, we're going to do this. This is going to print it out on the first line. And then we're utilizing the dot set cursor line to set it instead of at 0, 0, which will be the first line, first corner. We're setting it at 0, 1, which is for first spot, second row. Because remember, most things within programming languages utilize the 0, 0 as the first spot. Okay, so now we're finishing up. Oh gosh, man, Mr. G. Okay, now we're finishing up that. So that should be our last line there. So when we first fire up the program, what we'll see is we should be able to do this, and it should come up. We don't see anything, so we got to adjust our potentiometer, and you'll notice the whole thing is upside down. Okay, so you'll notice that's why we rotated it. This is utilizing the starting position. If we were to go through and rotate it, we'd have to select everything and then rotate it all. And sometimes still it could end up flipping it. Okay, sorry, I'm a little tired. My daughter had me up today at about 4 o'clock. So, okay. Now this should finish our setup. Okay. Usually what I do is we'd have this. Okay, give me a second. I don't know why I'm not able. Oh, it's because I'm in the simulation. Duh. Usually what I would do is I'd have this and we'd go end setup, just so it's an easy identifier for where that ending is. You could also, if you want to make sure that you know and understand where things are at, we can go begin setup. Okay, and actually you'd really want to put this probably up above it. Okay, and then you can do a return here, and so you'd have it on both spots. Okay, so when we go here, we go double double, start loop, and we could actually put that in there already. Okay, so that's what we're looking at there. Okay, so now we're getting into our loop. So now what we're going to do is we're going to check to see what this switch pin status is. Okay, so we need to have that coming in so we know what's a pin status. Is it a 1 or is it a 0? Okay. And we're going to go equals digital read, because we're wanting to read it if it's either a 1 or a 0, not a variance in between those. Switch pin is our pin location on 6. Okay. Now we're getting into our if statement. So the first if statement that we need to do is we're going to actually have it compare to see if that switch state changed at all. Remember, currently it's sitting at 0. Okay, we need to see if it's going to change it to a 1 or a 0 and reply back. So we know that we have to have our curly brackets. Okay. And our next statement then is going to be our next stepping into our next switch. Okay. So if it's equal to low, mean that it's changed, or off technically is what it would be. Okay, so currently right now it would always be high if we're setting it right there. When we tip it, we disconnect the switch. So it's going to see, oh, hey, wait, it's low. Hold on, change it. Okay. And then this is a comparator, which means that if it's equal to, and our next set of curly brackets, and this is where we're going to get into our reply. Now we're going to use what's known as a random. This is a random number generator. If you know computer science, what you'll know is that random in most computer languages is not truly random. It'll be based off of time starting, or it could be based off of a general library that's built when you first run the program. So there's a couple different ways that you can do that. For this spot right here, we can actually leave this as random. I think Arduino has it set up to where it's based off of the time the start of it or how long the program has been running. So it'll always be changing. The seed for it is what it's called. Okay. So we're going to get into our next setup. Okay. So now we're getting into the LCDs. Okay. So we're going to get LCD.clear. Oh, helps if I type it right. LCD.clear. And we're going to set that to blank. Okay. So this is a function. Most things that if you're looking at calling out just a name or something like that, don't include the parentheses. When it's inclusive of the parentheses, it's a built-in function within the LCD library. Okay. And what LCD.clear does, it clears the screen. So we're going to go LCD.setCursor. We're going to go 0, 0. Okay, so that's going to put us at the very first spot in our LCD line. We're going to go LCD.print. And you'll notice that it's still referring to a Magic 8 ball because it says the ball says. Okay. And then we're going to set set cursor to 0, 1. So that's going to set us to the first spot in the next line. And then the next thing that we're going to get into is what's known as our switch. Okay. Most other programming languages refer to this setup as a select case, not a switch case. Okay. So most other programming languages refer to it as select case, not switch case. Okay, but we're going to go switch, and we're going to use our variable reply. Okay, and now this one's going to be a curly bracket. We're going to set the case. So now what this means is that, hey, if it rolls a 0, so instead of typing out a if statement, if reply is equal to 0, then do this, else if, instead of having to type out all that, we can do, hey, case 0. Okay, if reply is 0, print out this. Okay. And our first line is going to be, quote, yes. Okay. And then we have to do what's known as a break statement. The break statement means that it's going to end that coded section. So the switch section, it's not going to go and check to see all the other ones. Okay. What it'll do is if it rolls a 5, it'll go through. Okay, is it case 0? No, it's a 5. If it's case 1, nope. Case 2, nope. Case 3, case 4, case 5. Okay, we're going to print it out. And then because we hit case 5, break. Okay. So we're going to go case 1, :LCD.print. Most Okay. And then break. Okay. Now a quick way to set this up would be is to copy this case out. Do a return line and paste however many options we want there. So this is going to be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, for a total number of 8. Now all we have to do is just go here and go, okay. So number 2 is going to say certainly. Three is going to say outlook. Good. Four is going to say unsure. 5 is going to say ask again. 6 is doubtful. And then 7 is no. No, hey, maybe next time or anything like that. Nope. Just no. Okay? And what's funny is that's going to be the end of this. Okay? So we're going to end the switch. Next one's going to be saying end the nested if. Can we actually end the outer if? Okay, now you'll notice I put a space there because what we have to do is we have to reassign the previous switch status, or we have to assign the switch status to the previous switch status so it knows if we shift it again. Okay. So we're going to go previous. So the previous switch state is equal to the switch state. Okay. And we're going to end that loop. Once again, we could actually put the comma in there. And so we can go update the tilt switch status. Okay. And there we go. Okay, so that's on building that. So this is our challenge, okay? I'm not going to show you how to do it right now, okay? If you want to, you can see in here. So if you want to, go to 11 and or 12 and 13, I believe, talk about it. Okay? So it's changing our stats from an 8 to a 12. So your challenge is we need to update this random. And then how do we add more states to this or more cases to this? Okay? So before I go, I'm going to turn this on. Oh. Void loop. Let's see. It was not declared within this state, so I might have misspelled it. I did. We're going to see if that fixes it. Sweet. Awesome. So we see ask the crystal ball. Okay. We're going to actually tilt it. The ball says no. Okay. Do I need to mow the lawn today? Ooh, most likely. That's not going to happen with my foot. Okay? But anyways, you guys can see it working. Your challenge is we're going to update this random to 12, and how do we add more cases to this? And what number do they go up to then? Okay? Remember this line right here, you have at most 16 characters, meaning 16 letters and spaces. Okay, so most, M-O-S-T, that's 4 right there. Okay, so you have up to 16. You could add more, but that requires some changing up here. Okay. But beyond that, I hope this project was fun for you guys. Remember, next week, I'm just going to do videos for you. So I'll have the Zoom up and available. But next week, it's just going to be videos. There's going to be no formal meeting. So this should be set up and ready for you guys to go. The following week is our last week. I'm hoping to see you guys all on our final project for this weird situation that we're in. If you are working on these and you want to know what our final project is, I can let you guys know that before, but you have to email me. Okay? If I don't see the email, you won't have access to the final project. Once again, the final project's not going to be graded or anything like that, but it's just something fun for us to do. So, beyond that, you guys have a good rest of your day. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Bye.